So I can't hear anything.
Apologies, I was muted.
Okay.
Welcome to this licensing hearing. The first item on the agenda is the election of a chair, and I understand that members would like Councillor Mason to chair the meeting. Is that agreed?
Great.
Yep.
Thank you, members. I'll hand over to the chair now.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you, members. Good morning and welcome to today's licensing hearing to determine an application for the Regency on George Hudson Street. Before we do that, I'll introduce everybody who's on the meeting. So I'm Councillor Ashley Mason. I'm the chair of the City's Licensing Committee and chairing today's subcommittee hearing. I've got Councillor Galvin and Councillor de Gorn with me, who will be the two councillors that work with me to make the decision on the hearing. Supporting us, who you've already heard from, is Fiona, who's our Democratic Services Officer, who will be clerking the meeting and providing any democratic support. Victoria Wardby is our solicitor, who will be providing our legal advice to us in public and later on in private session. Alan, would you like to just introduce yourself and your witness?
My name is Alan. I'm the applicant for the number 4 George Hudson Street Regency. My witness, Mr. Fung, which is the business owner.
Thank you. And Sergeant Booth, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your party.
Good morning, Chair and everyone. I'm Sergeant Jackie Booth. I'm the Force Licensing Manager from North Yorkshire Police, and also with attending to support the police representation this morning is PC Kim Hollis, Glyn Jones, Immigration Officer, and Helen Sefton, Senior Licensing Enforcement Officer from City of York Council.
Thank you. And the other important person I forgot to mention is Leslie Cook, who's the licensing manager, and she will obviously present the application and be able to provide any kind of technical advice and questions around the Licensing Act. Right, so declarations of interest, members, any declarations?
No.
Sorry, just to let you know, Councillor Mason, we've lost Sandra, but I think we can go ahead and we'll just see if she can rejoin.
Thank you. Yeah, so no declarations, nothing from me. So next part, we go on to the minutes, and we've got I think 2 sets of minutes to virtually sign off. I'm not sure if either of you two were there for those ones, but I'm happy to propose that we sign them off if you're happy with that.
Happy with that.
I think you're the only one who is
I think so.
those. So.
Yeah, I think they look about right. Right, so we go on to item 5, which is determination of the application. So Leslie, if you can please present the application to us, and how this will work, just for the benefit of the applicant, is that, yeah, sorry, go on. Go on, Victoria.
Can we deal with the
session.
amended agenda, the private session, and also check that the parties have received the remote procedure?
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Chair.
That prompt. So the first thing is just to check the procedure. So we published the wrong procedure with the original agenda. So it's just to check that you've all received the virtual agenda pack, or the virtual document that tells you how we conduct virtual hearings. So Alan, I think that's probably more relevant for you and your witness than anybody else.
Yeah, I will see that.
Brilliant stuff. And then obviously we also reissued a pack this morning, just because we'd missed out part of the application. So again, can I just check Sergeant Booth and Alan that you both received that?
Yes, Chair, I have. Thank you.
Brilliant, excellent. And also just to cover the private sessions, obviously the meeting is in public. It's been recorded so people can watch us live and watch it back. But when we come to make our decision, that's always done in private. It gives us time to deliberate just with our legal advisor. But Victoria will just kind of cover the legislation that allows us to do that, given that's not been published in the papers either.
Thank you, Chair. So this point is just to consider excluding the press and the public during the subcommittee's deliberations and the decision making at the end of the hearing, on the grounds that the public interest in excluding the public outweighs the public interest in that part of the meeting taking place in public. And this is under Regulation 14 of the Licensing Act 2003, Hearing Regulations 2005. It's a standard item on these licence subcommittee hearings, but unfortunately this item was accidentally left off the agenda.
Brilliant, thank you for that. No objections, I presume, from Sergeant Booth or the applicant.
Agree.
Great.
Thank you, members. Brilliant. Right, Leslie, over to you, please. If you can outline the application for us.
Thank you, Chair. This is the application for the grant of a premise licence for the Regency restaurant
Supermarket, 2 to 4 George Hudson Street, York. The licensable activities applied for are recorded music indoors, Sunday to Thursday, 10 a.m. till 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. till midnight. The sale of alcohol on and off the premises, Sunday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. until midnight, with only the restaurant opening until midnight. The opening times for the premises are Sunday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. until midnight. A copy of the application and the plan of the premises is attached to Annex 1 of the report. Within the application, the premise is described as a supermarket and restaurant. The premises was previously licensed, with that license being granted in 2015. This license was revoked following the review in 2020. A copy of the revoked license can be found at Annex 2. An overview of the circumstances in which entertainment activities are not licensable can be found at Annex 3. As part of the application, an operating schedule was submitted by the applicant showing how the licensing objectives would be met. That can be found at Annex 4. I can confirm that the premises is located within the cumulative impact assessment area, and the assessment can be found at Annex 5. Section 9 of the Statement of Licensing Policy, which deals with cumulative impact, can be found at Annex 6. I can confirm that the consultation process was carried out correctly. North Yorkshire Police has made representation on the grounds that the licensing objective, prevention of crime and disorder, would be undermined by granting this application. And the applicant failed to demonstrate how the application would not add to the cumulative impact of licensed premises already experienced within the cumulative impact area. Their representation can be found at Annex 7. Since the agenda was initially published, the police have submitted further information, which has also been published as an agenda supplement. A map showing the general area around the premises can be found at Annex 8. The committee has the following options when making your decision. Option 1, grant the licence in the terms applied for. Option 2, grant the licence with modified additional conditions imposed by the licensing committee. Option 3, grant the licence to exclude any of the licensable activities to which the application relates and modify add conditions accordingly. Option 4, refuse to specify a person in the licence as a premises supervisor. Option 5, reject the application. I must apologise, members, because there is an error within the report under the analysis on page 35 and 36. It does not specify the rights of appeal with regards to option 5. I can confirm that the applicant has the right to appeal this option to the Magistrates Court. That is the report, Chair.
Thank you very much. Alan, have you got any questions of Leslie's report?
No.
Okay, Sergeant Booth.
Yeah.
No, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Galvin?
No.
Councillor de Gorme? And nothing from me. So what happens now, Alan, it's your time to basically present your application. So you've got 15 minutes to discuss your application and maybe address any concerns that have been outlined in the documents you've already seen from other parties. And then after that, the police will have a chance to ask you some questions, and then we'll have a chance to ask you some questions. So 15 minutes, and I'll give you a warning when you're getting close to that limit. Thank you.
Okay. So shall I start?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So firstly, I'd like to address that the concern from North Yorkshire Police about my working experience. I have been working in a Master's Chinese restaurant in Leeds, just off the Cursor Road, for over 8 years as a head waiter. Master's restaurant is one of the Leeds city centre most popular Chinese restaurant, which has been well known by the local and has been trading for like over 30 years. The restaurant has closed its door due to its new development of the new student accommodation in 2019. since then, I've been working in several restaurants, and at the moment, I'm working at a seafood fish shop in Leeds. So I have done my personal license training and received the required qualification in December 2019. So after what I've learned from the license course and the experience over the past 10 years from Masses and other restaurants, I do not agree the North Yorkshire Police saying that I'm not the right person to undertake the role of a DPS. As from my previous experience in Masses, I've been performed the role that have day-to-day management of the pharmacists and effectively to promote the 5 license objective during my employment. Now I'm trying to move things forward better and smoother. I have asked the Pilancia, which is the specialist in HR and health and safety support to the business. This is the consultancy service that provide everything they need to meet the health and safety, environmental rules, the UK laws, keep our staff safe and protected. And they will identify the risk and hazard to get the practical advice on how to meet the UK laws. So this consultancy program has already started 2 weeks ago on the 5th of February 2021, and it's up and running already. And it's a bonus for us because I can see that from the previous visit from the local authority, problem with the documentation, training record, CCTV is not good enough from the previous owner. Therefore, they are here to monitor us, to give us advice, to update all staff employment documentation to ensure comply with the current legislation. Also, they will provide the best training program that will suit us more. In terms of prevention of illegal working for the pharmacists, I have the duty to carry out the document check and check the immigration status so that to make sure they have the right to work in the UK. Yeah, more or less that's it. Yeah.
I was on mute. Do you want to maybe just outline a little bit about what the plan is for the business? Obviously, you know, we're familiar with what happened there before in terms of how it operated as a premise, but what's the idea for the restaurant and supermarket? Do you just want to tell us a little bit about how that will operate?
Well, if you look at the plan, there's 2 sides. On the it's a one big place with a supermarket on the left-hand side and the restaurant on the right-hand side. The way we run it is we operate on and off sale for the supermarket side, and on the restaurant side, I mainly look after the restaurant side, and Tina will look after this supermarket side because I want to change things for the restaurant side basically, and want to improve and upgrade the standard at the moment. So. And then Tina will mainly concentrate on the administration work, which is the paperwork and stuff. So I'm mainly looking at the front of house, and Tina will keep an eye on the back of house, basically.
Thank you. Nothing else you want to tell us about your kind of application or any other part of your kind of operational plan?
I already addressed that in the application.
That's fine. Questions might come up that lead
yeah,
you to talk
I'm happy to answer any questions. Just
okay, that's fine. I'm just conscious you still got about that 10 minutes if you did have anything else to speak, but that's fine. We'll go to questions and see how we move on. Sergeant Booth, have you got any questions?
Yes, Chair. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Mann. Are you happy for me to call you Alan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Morning?
That's fine.
Just obviously, can I clarify from what you've just said that you have obtained your personal license in 2020, February 2020. You conducted the training in December 2019, but you've managed
2019,
yeah. Have you actually carried out the role of DPS at the restaurant that you have mentioned in Leeds?
No, before I obtained the license, I kind of carry out the role. I haven't got my DPS qualification before when I'm working in Master's Restaurant, but I
So
did
you've
under the
just
management.
just to be clear, you've not carried out the role of a DPS before.
No.
Okay, thank you. And in relation to the premises, you have mentioned that you would be utilising Peninsula Consultancy.
Yes, that's right.
Have you engaged in you personally signed a contract with Peninsula?
No, we have a meeting between Tina, the owner, and the organizer, which is what's his name? Leeds. We have the meeting together and we decide a contract from the 5th of February.
But just to clarify, have you, as the applicant for this premises license and the DPS, have you signed any contract with Peninsula?
I haven't signed a contract any.
Thank you. I've no further questions, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Galvin, have you got any questions? Councillor de Gorme? Just one from me, please, Alan. You were saying there about you know, how you see your role as focusing on the restaurant and you know, how that's managed, and obviously the improvements that you wanted to make and run it, and Tina would look after the supermarket.
Yes.
And then you went on to say that Tina would be responsible for all the back of office kind of paperwork and obviously administration, and you would focus on front of house. Obviously, a lot of these concerns do relate to things like paperwork and front of house. So I just wondered why you didn't think that would be your kind of responsibility, or why you didn't think you would be wanting to take on that responsibility as the DPS.
No, because for example, like hiring staff, they will firstly to go through me. So after I think I accept it, then I will pass it on to Tina, and she will put it on the system, you know, as I say, with the Peninsula software. So to make sure everything is record.
So you do the check, and then she would help with the record keeping of that check.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, thank you. There's no more questions from me. So that takes us on now to Sergeant Booth. Same thing, 15 minutes if you want to just outline the police's case, and obviously if you need to call any witnesses, you can do at that point. And then obviously, Alan, you'll have a chance to ask the police any questions, and so will councillors.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I trust members of the committee you have had sight and considered the representations made on behalf of North Yorkshire Police and the additional material provided in the pack by including the witness statements of Glyn Jones, Helen Sefton and PC Hollis and myself. We are all present today should any parties to this hearing have any questions in respect of that additional material. North Yorkshire Police have objected to this application for a premises licence on the grounds that the prevention of crime and disorder would be undermined. Whilst this is an application for a new premises grant, the premises in question previously held a premises licence until it was revoked at a licensing hearing on the 8th of June 2020. You will have seen the determination notice submitted as part of the papers in respect of the matter, including the reasons why the licence was revoked and a transfer application refused in the name of Yang Tong Feng, who is also known as Tina Feng. Page 27 states the following: given the history of serious failings at the premises, whilst the applicant has been involved with the running of the premises, significant breaches of conditions, fire safety issues, and the presence of illegal workers, that it was not satisfied that as a premises licence holder, Ms. Feng would be a responsible licensee, that there would be any change in how the business would be operated in the future if she were the licensee, and that the prevention of crime and disorder objective would be undermined by the transfer of the licence to her. They therefore rejected the application to transfer. The subcommittee considered this decision to be appropriate for the promotion of the crime prevention objective. Members of the committee, it is the position of the police that this is an important consideration for you to take into account in considering this new application. It is the belief that Yang Tong Feng, who is a key figure in the management and control of the premises, has employed Mr. Mann, the applicant, a person who has no criminal record, no association with the premises previously, and is yet to commence employment at the premises, to be the front for her to obtain a premises licence for the Regency, but will ultimately be the one with control. Ms. Feng has been part of the problems which resulted in the previous issues at the premises, including illegal workers, but also failing to comply with premises licence conditions. In fact, whilst an appeal was lodged following the revocation last year, Ms. Feng herself was issued a further Section 19 notice by PC Hollis on the 21st of October when it was discovered that the CCTV at the premises was inaccurate and not displaying the correct time. Ms. Feng, instead of taking responsibility and accountability for the previous failures at the premises and using the time in the last 6 months to demonstrate to responsible authorities and members of the committee that the premises can operate in accordance with authorisations, has failed to implement what would be suggested as reasonable measures. She has failed to appoint an experienced DPS. She has failed to adhere to premises licence conditions during an appeal period. There has been no evidence of documentary full HR management system implemented at the premises. No copies of relevant documents for members of staff engaged at the premises and employed at the premises for the past 24 months. There is no evidence of checks on the Home Office website or any verification identification documents for right to work. And there is no new member of staff who will be able to work at the premises condition offered unless they have provided satisfactory proof of work identification and right to work. This would be, one would suggest, a key condition to be offered for any new premises licence, given the history and the serious offences and breaches that took place in the past relating to this premises. The concerns in respect of illegal working, given the history of the premises, were highlighted in my police representation, outlining the lack of conditions being offered to mitigate these concerns. Mr. Mann was contacted by myself following the representation, as you will see from my witness statement, to ask if he had any queries he wished to discuss, and he didn't wish to discuss any of those matters. As you will have heard from him today, he is not the one that has signed any contract with any HR consultancy firm today. What is more concerning is that even after Peninsula Services, as he has stated today, were engaged on the 5th of February, there has been no offer by Mr. Mann, the applicant, of any conditions to mitigate the concerns about what has happened previously at the premises. And one has to question why those conditions have not been put forward today as part of this application. Does he not have the authority to do that as just an employee of Ms. Feng? By his own admissions, Mr. Mann states that Tina has employed him and he will be working alongside her at the premises, but he will appoint himself as the DPS. During my discussions with Mr. Mann, he stated that he had been approached by Tina due to his experience in running premises, and we have heard today that he has stated he has worked at a premises in Leeds for 8 years. However, in his application, page 55, the last paragraph, he states, "I will appoint myself as the designated premises supervisor, as I've been working in the retail and catering industry for over 10 years in the role." We've established today that Mr. Mann has not previously worked in the role as the DPS. You will have seen from the papers I've submitted, he only obtained his personal licence, which is a stipulation for a person to be required to carry out the role of a DPS. He obtained this last year on the 5th of February, and so cannot have been employed in any position as a DPS for the last 10 years. Mr. Mann has provided no documentary evidence or references to say where he has previously worked or gained experience in respect of a licensed premises for police to carry out due diligence checks. While speaking with him and as part of his submissions today, he has mentioned that he's working in a fish shop in Leeds, and I have undertaken inquiries there and established that this is not a licensed premises. There is nothing that has been presented by the applicant to show that he is experienced in working within licensed premises other than by his own hearsay admissions today. Ms. Feng, I believe, has approached him for him to take on the premises license, given her failures to take on a transfer in the last year of the premises herself. By his own admissions, Mr. Mann has stated he will be working alongside Tina Feng, who is currently the director. She currently manages the premises. She is the person that has signed a contract with Peninsula HR Consultancy Services, and she will be the person with day-to-day responsibility. The Section 182 guidance, para 2.5 states, it will normally be the responsibility of the premises licence holder as an employer and not the licensing authority to ensure that managers appointed at the premises are competent and appropriately trained. The designated premises supervisor is the key person who will usually be responsible for the day-to-day management of the premises by the premises licence holder, including the prevention of disorder. In respect of this application, Mr. Mann is both the proposed premises licence holder and DPS. From his own admissions today, he has stated that he will be front of house and Miss Feng will be the one conducting the administrative work. I believe that there are exceptional circumstances in this case, given the history and the inexperience of Mr. Mann, who will be employed and working alongside the person associated with the previous problems. And for that reason, I do not believe he's suitable to hold the premises licence. He has not offered any evidence of how he can manage a premises which has previously seriously undermined the licensing objectives, employing illegal persons and failing to adhere to premise licence conditions, and nothing has been offered to mitigate those concerns. The crime prevention objective is concerned with the avoidance of harm in the future. The evidence submitted as part of the police representation highlights the association of Miss Feng, who is present today in the continued management of the Regency, as director of the company, as the boss of Mr. Mann, and as the person entering into third-party contracts. For this reason, North Yorkshire Police would say that more likely than not, she will be the person with direct control and running the business, and this would seriously undermine the prevention of crime and disorder licensing objective. For this reason, the police respectfully request that this application be refused in its entirety. Chair, if I may, if I have some time, I would just like to call one of my witnesses, if that's okay with yourself.
Yeah, you've got a few minutes.
I just want to call Immigration Officer Glyn Jones in respect of the serious breaches previously regarding illegal working at the premises. And if I could just ask him to clarify some matters in respect of his witness statement. Glyn, can you hear me okay?
I can indeed, yes.
And just in relation to these premises, one of the aspects that you've referred to in your witness statement is in September 2019, when officers attended, there were some persons that were removed. And on this occasion, Miss Feng was present and also had intimated to, obviously, I think, immigration officers that were there, that she was the boss, and this has been reiterated by the persons that were removed at that time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in respect of previous occasions, in 2017, September 2017, she was also present when persons were removed illegally.
In terms of the visit on the 6th of April 2017, there was certainly contact with a female called Yang Tong, who gave the date of birth of the 19th of October 1982, as granting consent to enter the premises. We would only seek consent to enter from a person who has responsibility for a premises. In terms of the visits on the 8th of September 2017, there's no evidence to say that Ms. Feng was present at the premises, but certainly she was served a notice of liability in terms of the potential civil penalty for illegal working. And that was recorded as being posted to Mr. Yang Tong Feng, albeit the date of birth was 7th of October 1982, and recorded as the manager of the business on that occasion.
That's lovely. Thank you very much, Glyn. Chair and members.
Can I just also add that's also on with respect to the 6th of September 2019, the two people who referred to Yang Tong Feng as the manager also referred to her as Tina. I don't know if that has any relevance at all.
Thank you very much, Glyn. Just in respect of the name there, just to clarify, I do have both PC Hollis and Helen Sefton who are here today and who have previously met Yang Tongfeng, who has asked both those officers to refer to her as Tina. Should members wish to speak to either those officers, they are here today and can clarify that aspect. Just in respect of summing up, Chair, as you will have heard from the immigration officer, there are a number of concerns that this female, Yang Tongfeng, or Tina Feng, is present on premises when immigration officers have attended in the past. She is intrinsically linked to this business now. And I believe that she is the person that will be controlling the premises, that will have day-to-day responsibility. We have heard Mr. Mann say today that she is going to be working there, working alongside him, and she will have administrative control in respect of those premises. And for that reason, I would ask members to refuse the application, given her serious failings previously involved in this business. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Sergeant. Tina, would you mind just turning your microphone off? We keep getting a bit of interference coming through from you. Thank you. Right, Alan, it's your chance now to be able to ask the police any questions about their representations to us. So you've got up to 5 minutes to do that. Is there any questions you'd like to ask them?
Sergeant Booth, so does that mean anything related to Tina, then nothing can be put forward, I mean, in the future? If Tina is still running a business, so she can obtain a pharmacy license. Even I'm here to try to improve to put the business in right direction. So does that mean for the past history, she will never get a chance to put things right? I mean, let's put it this way. So.
Mr. Mann, we've had no evidence put forward to us. As I said, as part of my representation there has been no evidence put forward to myself that there has been any measures taken to address the previous failings, including any documented evidence. There is no experience that is being put forward. As I've said, this is a new role to you, and given the previous history, I would have thought that should a person be serious about obtaining a premises license, that they would wish to set themselves above a very high threshold and demonstrate to responsible authorities that they can run a premises correctly, adhere to premise license conditions, ensure that persons have a right to work, correct documentation is in place, and I have not seen that as part of this application. I cannot comment on future applications. I can only comment on the application presented to me today.
So even I work anywhere else, not in Regency, so I don't have a chance to build up my CV, my experience. So.
Mr. Mann, I give you every opportunity as part of this process to provide me evidence of where you'd worked previously and any references and any details, but you have chosen not to provide that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's fine. Okay, thank you.
No more questions for the police? Okay.
Can I say something?
It's questions, and I suppose any questions you've got as a witness probably have to come through Alan.
Oh, right. Sorry.
But I've got no problem with you asking Alan to ask a question.
Feel free, yeah, because
it's a question.
So is everybody with Tina speaking or asking question? Is everybody okay?
Sergeant Booth, you've got no objection to Tina asking a question?
Not at all, Chair.
Okay, Tina, yeah, by all means, ask it directly to the police.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to clarify about myself when you talk about the inspection in the 2020. Actually, when the police and the immigration officer arrived to checking about the ID, the staff ID, something, I just take over the business on 2019 February. and the premise holder is not on my name. I'm just not day-to-day the management and the.
It's got to be a question, Tina. You have to ask a question. You can't just make a statement. I'm afraid that was Alan's job. You've got to ask something to get a response.
Okay.
Have you got? Is there a question? Can you frame it as a question or not?
Yeah, actually, the question is how is there something just everything is similar as Alan, just something related to me. My name will be can't do any business in the future.
I think to be fair to the police, they've almost answered that question in the last one, basically.
That's fine. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That's...
Thank you. All right, Councillor Galvin, have you got any questions of the police? Okay, Councillor de Gorme?
Don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you. No questions from me. So as Sergeant Booth will be aware, she now gets 5 minutes to sum up. Obviously, we've only just heard from her. And then at the end, Alan, you'll get the last 5 minutes to kind of make your case. All right. So Sergeant Booth, if you want to go, you don't need to take up the whole 5 minutes if you don't feel you need to.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Chair, there has been nothing put forward by this applicant to mitigate the concerns that I have highlighted in respect of this premises. Section 182 of the guidance states that the prevention of crime includes the prevention of immigration crime, including the prevention of illegal working in licensed premises. This premises has been visited on 3 previous occasions. On each time, illegal persons have been removed. For me, a key aspect in preventing crime and disorder is putting forward persons that are not associated with the illegal persons working on premises. I believe that in respect of this application, there has been nothing put forward to mitigate those concerns, and that Ms. Feng is still the person in control and responsible for this premises, and therefore the concerns around illegal working remain on behalf of the police. Thank you, Chair.
Sergeant. Right, Alan, you have the final 5 minutes now for you to be able to just kind of, summarise your case for why you should be given an application, a licence.
Okay. So I have already taken the necessary step to address the police problem concern. Since I've taken over management role, just a lot of little changes and improvements has already been made for Regency. So I employed by the current owner, Tina, Miss Feng, to make sure that I have the power to run the business safely and smoothly. So that to make sure to put the business into a right direction and not moving backwards. So because I'm looking at the future, not at the past. I know the past record from the previous owner is not great. So yeah, I just now invite a member of the subcommittee to grant the application. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Councillor Galvin, any clarification questions of any of the parties? Councillor de Gorme, any questions of anybody?
No, thanks, that's fine.
Thank you. Victoria, is any legal advice or anything you'd like to say before we go into private session?
Not from me, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so what happens now for your benefit and for your Sergeant? What happens, Alan, is we'll go into a private session. So this meeting will finish, and that'll be it. That you won't to come back, or you won't join us again. And then what will happen by the end of today, we'll publish what we call the decision notice on the council website, and that will basically say what our decision is. It won't go into great detail. It will just say yes, no, or whatever the option is we decide. And then within a few days, or maybe a week or so after that, a formal letter will come, and that will have much more detail. So you'll be able to read that at that point. But today you will find out yes or no, basically, and that'll be published. So we'll close this meeting now. Members will retire with our legal advisor to make the decision, and like I said, that notice will be published at some point this afternoon. But thank you all for your time this morning. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.